How's the Celtics?
Uh, they're really well. Playing really well right now.
Are you watching college too?
hmm
Have you always been into sports?
Yes, my whole entire life.
Playing?
Yeah, when I was really young, I used to have to follow my brother and sister around. They both played soccer. My sister was 4 years older than me. My brother was 3 years older than me. So it was either I go with my dad and my brother, or I go with my sister and my mom, and go to their soccer tournaments. They were both really good. I just got drained from soccer.
I
So my
bet.
dad was like, "You want to play something else?" And I was like, "Please." And he introduced me to baseball, and from there I loved baseball. I wanted to play for the Red Sox someday, and
What happened?
now I'm selling houses. Just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding about that, but
It is true.
well, you want to know what happened?
Yeah.
I only became 5'9". That's what happened. I'm not even. I just lied. I'm 5'8".
So a little bit of genetic challenge.
I'm in the middle. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I really do attribute that to the reason why I don't think I went further in sports. I mean, if I was
How far did you
just
go?
give me like 6'1". If I was 6'1", really wanted to be like 6'3", but that wasn't gonna happen. No one in my family's tall. But I was really good at football in high school. I was really good at baseball. I liked playing basketball, but didn't really like the coach. So a lot of us kind of just like stopped playing basketball.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play in college too?
No, I actually, the reason I moved out to Arizona was to go to ASU and try out as a walk-on. So I tried out for football and I tried out for baseball twice.
Didn't make it.
No. Thanks. No. I
Just
had
bringing it all
really,
up today.
you know
It's
what?
all coming up today.
Football, I actually had probably the best walk-on tryout for a wide receiver. But again, the height and weight was the thing.
Yeah.
I graduated high school at like 115 pounds.
Wow,
I was tiny.
dude.
And I think I put on my slide that I was like, highlight reel that I was like 175. I mean, you can tell.
Yeah.
Look at someone, they're 5'8", they're
Kind
not
of like when you look at
175.
Tom Brady before, and you're like, dude was a rail, and then later you're like, whoa, he
Yeah.
filled out. Or with
Yep.
Jordan, same thing.
Yep. So I didn't make football. I did make an impression, but it didn't ultimately do anything. That was under Dennis Erickson too. So I was walk-on tryout under
Wow.
Dennis Erickson. And baseball made an impression with the baseball coach, and baseball is a lot harder D1. You know, if you're not playing really competitively in high school, which we were, but like when you D1 baseball's
It's another level.
is another level. It's insane. But the coach really liked me. He kept me along with the team to like work with them as far as like operations, game day, and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Now, did you stay in college though? Even though you weren't doing the sports?
Yeah.
Did you finish out?
Uh-huh.
What'd you end up majoring in?
Business communications
Oh, that helps you in real estate.
with a minor in marketing.
Perfect combo.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So now, did you graduate and go right into real estate, or what were you doing just prior to?
No, I actually worked for a couple different jobs in between. Out of college, started working for Quick Trip, and didn't realize how well ran of a company that is. They treat their employees really well, and there's a lot of opportunity there for a lot of
Nice.
people. Still have a lot of friends that work there. And then after that, I went over to Crescent Crown Distributing for just like 6 months while I was getting my real estate license, and then just jumped in full time.
What got you into real estate? Like, what made you think I'm going to start taking this? Is it 90 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
90.
So I'm going to take this 90-hour course and get my license. Like, what got you in?
Well, I had been bugging one of my friends for a long time to try to flip properties back in like 2011, 2012, 2013.
How come?
Because his brother had a lot of money. And I
But
thought
why
there
did,
was
what made you think
opportunity.
about flips? Like,
Well, my dad is a general contractor.
okay,
So I grew up around construction and
got it.
real estate. Always been interested in real estate. I know there's a lot of money to be made in it. And like I said, in 2011, 12, there were a lot of cheap homes, you know?
Right.
So I was trying to convince them that the model was good, which it was. You know, we never ended up pulling the trigger on it, but he called me one day and he's like, "Tom, I'm going to real estate school." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go with you."
Awesome.
That's how it went down.
Wow,
for real.
cool. Now, is he still in the game?
Yeah, but he's more like on the commercial and investment side of things.
Okay.
And I, day-to-day residential. So
Yeah, cool. Now, I know tying those together, right? You work with athletes and want to do more with athletes. I know it's not all athletes, but that's been part of your focus.
Yep.
What does that look like? Because that seems like different than the norm for most agents.
Well, I mean, growing up as an athlete, I just tend to get along with them really well. And I also know from having followed professional athletes in sports my whole life that they get a lot of money very quick. And a lot of people are trying to always take advantage of that. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually protect them. I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to show them that real estate's a great investment. And if you know what you're doing, you can actually grow your net worth, even with the big contracts that they're making these days. But
well, you hear all the stories, right? The athletes come into it just like a lottery winner, right? But
exactly.
they get it and then they blow it on just stuff.
Well, basketball is the worst. Basketball, they're making a lot of money these days, and they're making a lot of it at 18, 19, 20 years old. And it's hard. It's tough for some people because, like you said, it's like hitting the lottery. When you just come into that amount of money, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know who to trust. They don't know what to do with the money, where to put it. And next thing you know, they just start spending it. Some of them are making these, signing these contracts that are life-changing money to the point where, like, they'll never have to work again. But some of them, once you're out of the league, you're out of the league. You got to face reality that either you saved it, invested it well, or you're going to run out soon.
Right. So, yeah, it didn't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you get in front of them? Talking about prospecting and trying to drum up business just in that area.
It's all networking. It's all just networking with the right people.
And when you're doing that, is that working with I just had someone in here that told me that there were 3 firms that handle about 90% of the athletes. Does that sound about right?
I'm not sure if that is 100% true, but it sounds accurate.
Like that's
in a lot of businesses, that's kind of how it goes. Right. But yeah, there's some real big ones out there.
And so do you try to network with those? Because he was saying that
obviously you're trying to network with everyone, but to even get in front of them is almost as hard sometimes as getting in front of the athlete themselves. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. But where do you find your success in getting in front of the athletes and how to earn that business?
Again, it's just networking, past clients, friends, friends of friends.
Let's say you were a marketing agency, right, and they were going to consult you, what would that marketing agency tell you to do other than networking? Is there anything? Or is networking really like the thing?
Nothing comes to mind. Yeah, networking is really just the best. I mean, obviously in real estate, referral-based business is like the best type of business you can have. Because if you're getting basically like a warm referral from someone that already likes and trusts you, then it's going to go a long way.
Way better. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Like, there's not an athlete that's sitting there on Google going, like, what's an athlete realtor, in Scotts? They could.
You know what? Actually, you would be surprised. But
really?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that a lot of athletes do get referred to agents or friends or whatever. But I do a lot of fact-finding or a lot of statistics behind the scenes, and a lot of these guys, I see them doing real estate deals with people that they're not following on social media. Almost you never really see any type of connection between the two of them, and you're wondering, well, I wonder how they hooked up with that person, Mm-hmm. And it could be anything. It could be open houses. They just stumble in and they like someone and get to talking to them, or maybe it's word of mouth, or maybe they are on Google and Zillow and Realtor.com, whatnot.
Yeah.
Finding their agents.
Yeah. Okay, so other than that niche of your business, how else do you derive your business and generate leads?
I mean, the biggest one is definitely past clients and the referrals. I've been in real estate now for 9 years, so coming up on 10. So I do have a pretty extensive past client book, but at the brokerage that I'm at, we get some leads here and there, which is huge help. And then open houses, door knocking sometimes. I mean, I don't like to do that, obviously, especially in the summer.
Right.
But there's times, if you have a listing that's coming to market and you think it's going to be tough, one of the best strategies right out of the gate is just door knocking and letting everyone in the neighborhood know.
How many
You know,
doors will you knock in a case like that? I know it depends on the neighborhood,
sometimes until
but
you get tired.
it's a great answer.
Until you get tired.
Yeah.
As many as you need to be
Mm,
honest.
mm. So speaking of open houses, so I always think of in terms of like a playbook. Do you have a certain process or systems or things that you do when you're gonna hold a house open?
I mean, not really. It's pretty much always the same thing, but it's just normal setup and
Well, you say normal, but the listeners are like, "What's normal? Like, is that 10 signs, 20 signs? Is that I
yeah,
start? I,
it's usually about 10 signs.
okay.
10 signs. I'll post on social media a few days beforehand, consistently, all different platforms of social media. Sometimes you can even throw it in different types of social media groups to try to get the word out there.
What kind of
Um,
groups would that be? A realtor group or like investor group or?
well, Facebook is still kind of king these days.
Hmm.
Instagram's up there, but Facebook, there's a huge demographic on Facebook. And if you go into different groups, like say you have a listing in Casa Grande, go into a Casa Grande group and you post,
Yeah.
it might be 30,000 people in that group.
Wow.
You post, open house this weekend if you're looking for 5 bedroom, 3 bath. Um,
Yeah, you never know
Typically
until you
most
cast
homes
the
are
reel.
3, 4 bedrooms. So
Hmm.
having something unique, that 30,000, obviously not everyone is going to see it, but let's say 3,000 people see it. That's still,
It's a lot of
you're still
eyeballs.
getting, yeah, you're still getting your post in front of 3,000
Yeah.
people.
Well, look, even if one person from that group shows up,
Hmm.
it was
All
worth
you
the
need is
post.
one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we post on social. Maybe you're going to door knock. Any other stuff? Do you call or do any sort of circle prospecting around the area?
I'll do some stuff with the MLS, like reverse prospecting, but not
Okay.
not so much calling. Um,
That's
yeah,
still a good amount of stuff to do on
yeah,
one open house.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just posting that there's going to be an open house, like setting it up in the MLS and having that syndicate to Zillow and Realtor.com and whatnot. Between that and the signs, that's usually like what
That's the bulk of it.
typically drives the
Mm-hmm.
people to the open houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, this is a little off the topic, but um, I went to go show a home yesterday, and there was supposed to be an open house from 11 to 2. It was in the system. Me and my clients, we looked at 3 homes from like 9 to 10:30, and they mentioned to me as we were almost about to depart that there was one more that they were interested in, but it was like kind of low on their list of homes. But there was going to be an open house from 11 to 2. So I was like, well, let me explain to you how open houses work and how my business works. I need to go with you to the open house. And so I said, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go grab something to eat real quick. If you guys, they have a young son, I'm like, if you guys want to go grab him something to eat real quick, we'll depart for 30 minutes. I'll meet up with you guys at 11 o'clock. I didn't want to go to the house early. Being an agent, I know sometimes I could be scrambling to set up an
Mm-hmm.
open house from 10:30 to 11.
That was
So
thoughtful.
I didn't want to rush anybody, you know. And so I figured we show up at 11 and check out the house, and they like it, then go from there. And 11:10 rolled around. They were still running some errands real quick, which was totally fine. Again, I don't want to bombard anyone, especially even at 11 o'clock. Sometimes people are still scrambling.
Your client.
So my client was running an errand
Okay.
between 10:30
Yeah,
and
yeah.
11.
Yep.
So they texted me and said we'll be there at like 11:10.
Okay.
So 10 minutes late. No worries. It wasn't even late really.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
open house.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's completely fine. I was like, you know what? I go, no, there's no open house sign set up at the moment, so I think someone's scrambling. And I called the agent and I said, hey, I don't know if anyone's going to be doing this open house. No signs are set up. I haven't seen sign of anyone. So would you mind if I showed my clients? And he said, it is owner occupied, but the owner is out of the house at the moment. He's like, let me just double check with them and find out what the scoop is. And I guess they had a scheduling issue, and there wasn't going to be an open house. And I showed my clients. We were in there for about 10 minutes. They liked it, need a lot of work, but they did like it. And one after another, people just started showing up to the house. And I was the only realtor there. I wound up showing the home 5 times
Oh my
to
gosh.
6 people. It's including my clients first, so they were the first ones. 5 more people I showed the home to, and 3 people I actually turned away. because I couldn't just stay there. I
Right.
mean, this is a owner-occupied home, and
Yeah.
I really didn't even have permission to
I'm
show
not-
it 5
right.
times. I didn't know what kind of boundaries I never came into that situation before, so I didn't know what kind of
Wow.
boundaries I was overstepping. You know.
Did you pick up any
But I
extra
think I did
clients?
pick up 2 clients.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the
So
power.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways in this business.
But
to
like you
pick
said,
up
that's a
clients.
testament to, hey, if I put it to the major syndication of MLS,
That's what it was. It was
it's
in
going to
Zillow.
get out. Yep.
It was in Zillow as open house from 11 to 2, and between 11 and 12, a lot of people were showing up. I mean, it was consistent. I couldn't get out of there.
What was the price point?
$775.
Wow.
Yep,
That is awesome.
I know.
Dude, it's a hot market. I
And
mean,
one of the
we're
clients I
coming
picked
into
up
that.
said he was in the market between about 650 and 2 million.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, congrats, man.
yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
immediately I started doing the commission on 2 million.
All right, so let me ask you this. So that's awesome. So part of the playbook on open houses is not just the lead up, and the execution of the open house, but also the follow up afterwards. What does your follow up afterwards look like? Not just for your client, because you're already showing them and you're in the process with them, but the new ones, the ones that came into the open house that you just met for the first time, that maybe you're like, hey, I might have picked up two. Cool. What's the follow up look like after for those guys?
The follow-up is the most important. I mean, as long as you just keep in contact with them, you have to definitely, if it's a weekend open house, which most are, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that, you have to follow up Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
Otherwise, the longer it gets, the further, you're going to be from their mind.
Yep.
And then they'll just go into another open house, meet another realtor, and the cycle is just going to continue, you
Yeah.
know.
So Monday comes around. That's
Monday, Tuesday comes around. Yep, following up with them, making phone calls, asking them exactly what they're looking for. How can I help them?
Do you try to get them into your office or meet them somewhere else?
Everybody's different, but yeah, I mean, I do try to. Oh, I try to get them out to see more homes.
Okay.
The big thing is face to face. So it could be into the office. It could be meeting them somewhere for lunch or coffee or whatever, or it could be showing homes. It depends on their level of seriousness, or you just, like I said, you really just want to get in front of them, so that you can talk to them further. And face to face always is much better than over the phone.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you met them at the open house, but I got to really get more, like you said, intimate with them and talk more about their needs and et cetera. So that's solid. Now, do you do anything else besides the calls? Are you doing text? Are you doing video? Are you doing, hey, if you get their address, you mailing them a handwritten note? Like,
I mean, yeah, I guess that would all stem out of whether or not they respond to the first phone call, if they even answered or not.
right.
But yeah, I mean, I'll send out multiple text messages, try and keep calling them if I can't get a hold of them. Most of the time, whether you got fake numbered or not,
Right.
because that can happen too. But if you don't fill out your open house sheet to start with some fake names, I'm not gonna lie, there are people that will just come in, they'll just write their name down, they don't give you any contact information.
So you put, it's like a tip jar. You
Yeah.
got to put your own money in there first to let them know that's a tip jar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's a good tip. That's a great tip.
And the more you fill it out for the fake people
Yeah.
at the top of the list, the more
Right.
they'll fill out.
Yeah.
Because people are they follow. They
Do you
follow.
put standard names on there? Like, does the same person come to your open house
I
every
always
time?
no, it's
Come on.
the same person. They don't come, obviously.
No, I know.
but
You're
yeah,
writing
it's always two of my friends. It's always the same
love it.
two friends. You know what the funny thing is? They don't even know. Those friends don't even know. They're always on my open house sign-in
That's so
sheets.
cool that they're always
Yeah.
top of mind.
It's not their real phone number though,
I
or
bet,
email
I
address,
bet.
but it's their
it
real
looks
name.
real though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
It's always so-and-so at gmail.com.
All right, so let's talk. That's an awesome playbook for the open house. Let's talk about playbooks for your past clients, because you said you've been in it for almost 10. So congrats on almost hitting the decade. It's a long run in real estate too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good run.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first few years was a lot harder than it is now, but obviously for multiple reasons, built up the business. But in the last 5 years, I mean, real estate, everyone's jumped in, So,
Both, meaning
yeah.
agents have jumped in.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
and
that's what I
purchase and
was,
sale
yeah,
jumped
that's
in,
what I
right?
was
You got both.
referring to. But yes, buyers and sellers too. When the market started getting really hot and crazy in 2020, actually, it really actually stemmed in 2019. But when it started going nuts with interest rates getting as low as they did, a lot of agents were jumping in.
Yeah.
thinking it was easy.
Mm.
You know, they knew
Well, you made it look easy.
brother, sister, cousin, family member, whatever that was, either getting their license or someone wanted to buy or sell.
Yeah.
So they thought I'd make $6, $7, $8, $10,000 here and there off the side each month, whatever, no biggie.
No biggie.
It ain't that way anymore. Let me tell you. If you weren't consistent, if you weren't in the game beforehand, it's been very hard to stick around. And
Yeah.
we've been seeing a lot of agents drop out. I mean, I watched a number of people get their license and not even renew after 2 years.
Wow.
So
I think, it's funny you mentioned 2 years. I was just about to bring that up. Usually there's a 2-year milestone that's really the number that I see that if they pass the 2 years, it's a career. It's
Yeah.
really a grind. I look at it like the train coming out of the station, right? That really had to work hard and hard and hard to get out of the station. But after that 2-year mark or 2-mile mark or whatever analogy goes, that now you have the momentum. It's running. It doesn't take as much fuel to keep going because you have the momentum behind
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, 2 years, every 2 years you have to renew your license. So whether or not you want to be in for a year or 2 years or 3 years, you're automatically in for two for the most
Right.
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one thing that they did tell us in school was 90% of the people surrounding you in this room will be out of real estate after 1 year.
Wow.
And so that was when me and my friend looked at each other and we were like, we're going to make sure that we're not part of that 90, we're part of that 10.
I love that.
And I mean, honestly, I have to tell myself that every year because, like you said, it's gotten easier, but it's still, if you don't put in the work, it's still tough.
Yeah.
It's not an easy business.
Yeah.
I can't just expect a paycheck every other Friday like most people do.
Happens. Yeah.
If I don't work, I don't get paid. So.
So going back, playbook for your past clients. What does that process look like that you stay in touch with them?
There's a lot of different ways that I stay in touch with my clients. A lot of them I'm friends with them on social media, all different types of platforms. I talk to them a lot of times. The funny thing, there's a saying in real estate that your clients will become friends faster than your friends will become clients. And it's true. I actually have befriended a lot more of my clients than a lot of my friends have reached out to use me. Now, some of them have. I don't want people to think that my friends don't use me. They do. But, I mean, it's tough. Maybe you know 4 or 5 realtors. And sometimes, as good of friends as you are, maybe it's a brother or sister that even has their real estate license. And you just can't hold people.
Yeah, but you also only have so many pool of friends.
I have a lot
Right.
of friends.
I know, but not every friend is going to buy a house all
yeah.
the time. Yet
Yep.
all these clients that you're meeting, that you're like,
Yep.
hey, let's go. Hey, let's go have lunch. Let's hang out. Hey, I need a contractor. Hey, I
Yep.
need your advice on something, and they become fast friends. So
Yes.
statistically, that does make sense. But that's a great
Yep.
way to put it. I've never heard someone say that. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Like I said, I became friends with a lot of my past clients.
So obviously,
Still
the ones
talk
that you
to 'em.
became friends with, then you're talking to more
All the time.
frequently, right? So let's
All the
talk
time.
about what's the process of the ones that didn't become like that close of friends that you're talking to all the time, but they're still, like, can trust you because you handle their asset.
Yeah, I mean there's ways that you can still stay in touch with them. You can contact them on birthdays, anniversaries, anniversary of when they bought their home, stuff like that. You could do 3, 6, 9 months, 12, 12
Yeah,
months.
but what do you do?
Well, I do multiple things.
Okay.
I do that. I try to call every so often just to stay in touch. They may not be like super close friends, but you know, if you stay in touch with them, just to remind them. Like one of my clients recently just lost his father. We actually haven't talked in a little while, but I did reach out on Facebook not that long ago as a friend request, and then I saw that he lost his father, and I mailed him a card to let him know that I was thinking about him, and if he ever wanted to reach out to talk to anyone that isn't too close, but I'm there, that wouldn't pass any judgment or just listen to him. And he happens to be a Bruins fan, so I said, if you want to go grab food, catch a Bruins playoff game, I'm down to hang for 3-4 hours, so
That's cool.
yeah. And stuff like that sucks, but it's part of life, and you do still gotta be there for people.
Yeah.
You don't want people to just think that they're just a transaction to you, because they're not.
Right.
They're really not.
Well, and I'll tell you, that's a testament to that, because if they were just a transaction, you would have kept scrolling. You wouldn't have picked up the phone, written the card,
Yeah.
bought the card, written the card, sent the card, right? And offered that.
Yeah.
Offered to be a listener,
Yeah.
or offered to go to a 3-hour game or watch a game, right? That's it's the actions that support your model of, I'm a relationship-based realtor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other, because that's a lot, right? That's a lot of touches. Is there anything else that you do with the clients? Is there any hard mail, any events? Because I see that stuff in our industry, but I just want to know, do you do
I
anything
don't
like that?
do a lot of the client events. I kind of wish I did, to be honest, but
I would think you'd want to do something like, hey, I rented out the spring training thing for
yeah.
my clients, whoever wants to come.
I mean, I do try, but the marketing budget can only be so big sometimes.
That's true. That's true.
When you start buying spring training tickets for everyone and doing something of that magnitude, let's say 2 to 4 times a year, let's say you do it each quarter, gets pretty pricey. And unfortunately, this is part of the business, but you lose clients sometimes, you can go out of your way and spend a lot of money on clients, and they'll still wind up going somewhere else. And
Why do you
you
think
may
that is?
You may never get an answer sometimes.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten an answer?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Well, I had a lender one time screw things up with the client. They were working with one agent and this lender. They went under contract when the market was really hot on a property. Basically, they waived their inspection process. Home didn't appraise, and they weren't able to. No, I'm sorry. They waived their. It wasn't the inspection period. They waived their appraisal.
Waived the appraisal.
Appraisal contingency, and they got fed up with, just how the transaction was going. The lender switched it over to me, and told them that they would get their earnest money back for the first home that they lost.
Ooh.
And it wasn't on me to pay their earnest money back,
Right.
but they were supposedly going to get it back from somewhere.
Right.
And I helped them with their transaction. We found a great home that they loved. They put some money into it. And then they decided that they were going to move to another state. And I actually had met the people across the street at one point, and the person across the street reached out to me and said, "Hey, they're already selling their home, huh?" And I was like, "What do you mean they're selling their home?" And I had just seen them a couple months prior, giving them a champagne bucket with glasses and champagne and a card and everything for New Year's.
Wow.
This was in like March, April, that they decided to put their home on the market. They mentioned nothing to me at that time.
Wow.
I had the glasses engraved and everything with their names on it. And I reached out to them and I was like, "Hey, if you don't mind me asking, what happened?" And they said, we were supposed to get our earnest money back. We never got it back. And so we just decided
On the deal that wasn't your deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So it was another agent within the brokerage that was, helping them out. And they decided to switch brokerages on the sale. And they said, we never got our earnest money back. And, we just kind of were pretty fed up with that. And I was literally at a loss of words. I was like, this is
Right.
maybe something that you could have brought to my attention when I saw you a couple months ago.
Right.
If I knew that you hadn't got it back, I would have done everything I could to help you get it back, because I know it was part of the agreement. And they were like, "Well, we just felt like you knew the whole time anyway." And I was like, "How am I supposed to know if you never tell me?"
Right.
I don't have access to your bank account. I don't know.
Communications major, but I'm not
like I
that
said,
good.
it wasn't on me to pay them back. It was on someone
Right.
else. I'm not going to say where that money was supposed to come from, but
Yeah, but I could have. What do they say? Like I could have helped been an advocate for them.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. And the frustrating thing is I did a really great job for them on their transaction. They got in a home that was a multiple offer situation. We got in with equity on the table still,
Wow.
instant equity, and They loved it. They loved their home. Nice gated community and everything. And
Well,
they,
like you said though, like there's stuff I can't like. No matter how good I do, you're
exactly.
gonna lose clients no matter what.
Exactly.
But going back,
And those champagne buckets wound up costing me about $60 per person. I tried to do it for every client.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
personally hand deliver them because.
Well, look, I mean, that's
stuff
to
I
me is
drive it all
a
around
cost
the
of
valley.
our business, right? It's in your marketing budget.
Yeah.
It needs to be part of the deal. It's an investment, not a cost. Like
It
didn't
is,
cost
yeah.
you anything. It was I invested $60 in that thing, right? That's why I look at the events too. It's part of the investment.
Yep.
You know, save up a portion of your future commissions and then start doing them at the end of the year. But I would think, like, especially if it's events, like I like doing stuff I like to do.
Yeah.
So whether it's the spring training game or we do movies or we'll do Top Golf or we'll do bowling, like it's just fun stuff.
Yeah.
But also I can't do it for everybody.
Yeah.
So when we do the
That's tough.
movies, it's like, hey, we're going to get the 200-person theater. We only invite 150 because I don't want people in the front row going like this the whole time.
Yep.
And then we invite, but it stops at a certain number.
Especially the longer you're in the game, your client list gets longer and longer and longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. If you wind up having a client list of 1,000 people, you know, even if you do a movie theater's only so many people, you know, you might have to do multiple days.
Well, but for us, it's the powers in the invite. So I invite them all. It caps out at 150 or.
And you're right. They're not all going to come.
Yeah.
Too.
Exactly.
Some people are
They just like being invited.
Yep.
What about hard mail? Do you hard mail anything?
Yeah, some things, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, I sent out the card to that one client, but
Yep.
and there's more situations like
So it's very
that.
specific.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very
Okay, I like
specific, and it's literally handwritten. I'm not using any of those
robots?
generated. Yeah, no robots generating mail.
Good man. I went away from. I had the robot pen for a while, and I was
Yep.
like, man, it's just so inauthentic.
Yeah.
Give me the cards back. And so I
You know,
started writing mine.
I was told that there's stuff that's done on our behalf at the brokerage. I'm not saying there's not, but I was told it was done for every client, like on their birthdays. And I've never ever gotten a client reach out to me and say thanks on their birthday for the card.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's not being done. I actually do think it is being done because I have put myself through our system,
Right.
and I did get a card on my birthday.
Nice.
Even though I'm an agent, you know. But
Hey, at least you know it works.
I'm in our system, so it goes out automatically to each client on their birthday. So I got one. But if you're not personally sending it out, you're not going to hear from them. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They don't reach out. They get it. They forget about it, or it goes in the trash or whatever, you know. And
I think the card, but it has to be followed up with a phone call.
oh yeah,
Even a text, even a video.
Yep.
I sent someone a video over the weekend. Hey, happy birthday, you know. Because then you know they got it. Like I know they got that. They got the text. They got the phone call, right?
Yep.
The cards, you're right. You don't know. Or the gift.
Yeah.
We've sent gifts to people, and I'm like, I never got a call. And
Yeah.
but I always call, too, to follow up. Like, hey, we left something at your house. Let me know
That's
that
why
you
I was
got it.
hand delivering them. That's why I
There
was
you
hand
go.
delivering. It was around $2,500 I spent on champagne buckets and glasses, champagne bucket,
Wow.
card, napkins. Everything was like Happy New Year. It was basically a I really want
That
your
is
I
awesome.
really want your upcoming year to be great. You know.
Killer.
So celebrate it in
Love
the
it.
beginning and kick it off, you know. And it took a lot of time. When I said 2,000, 2,500, that was just the supplies. I spent a lot of money in gas that I'm not even
yeah.
counting.
Right.
A lot of time driving. I had
Writing those
clients in
notes?
Casa Grande, Maricopa, Buckeye, you know,
Wow.
Peoria, Surprise. I was driving everywhere, delivering these things.
And look, and also knowing that not every one of them is going to use me again, but I'm going to go the extra mile, literally.
But for
do
every
that.
one that you don't think is going to use you again, there's probably one out there that may refer you to someone else.
100%.
So it's karma. It's
There's
you know,
plenty of
you
people
put-
that I
you put-
still market to that are in those, 2.5% interest rates that are in their forever home. There's
Yep.
some that are in 2.5 that still want to get another home, bigger home, new spot, whatever. But there's some that are like, no, this is my forever home, and I lucked out because I was able to refinance during these super nice times or buy that house during the super nice times of 2
Yep.
and 3%. They're like, I'll probably never use you again, Greg, but I'm for sure going to refer you because you keep gifting me and inviting me
Yeah.
to your events and doing your stuff, right? Because
Yep.
again, it's a relationship-based sport, right?
Yep.
And it's a contact sport. And if you make not even the number of contacts, but quality contact, like in football, you don't
Yeah.
just make like a light little contact with someone. You like take them to the
Made a
ground.
big impact.
It's a big impact.
Yeah.
And that's how your business is.
Yep.
That's killer. Okay, so you got database, you got a little bit of internet stuff, you've got the athlete stuff. Is there anything else we're missing in your business? Or that covers it all?
I mean, with the athletes, I'm trying to show them the investing world. It's not just about where you personally live. Sometimes it's about investing in real estate, and anybody that. The problem with real estate is everyone thinks that you are basically a used car salesman. We get
right?
Yeah, we get the same perception as car salesmen, and that's not the case.
So how do you market against that?
Hold on, that was something I was gonna say. There was a reason I was going into that, and I'm trying to think of what it was.
Sorry,
So I've been trying for years. Like I said, I've been in for almost 10 years now. I've been trying since 2014, 2015, 2016 to try to get people to buy property. My friends mostly in the beginning, because that was my sphere of influence. And everyone just thought, oh, he just wants to make a sale. He just wants to make a sale. Do you know how many of those friends wish they could go back, take me up on that offer now to buy a home when homes are cheap?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
I mean, we're talking people that probably would have had $1,200 mortgages back then at 5% interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the interest rates dropped 3%, 2.5% in 2019, 2020, 2021, they would have been refinanced. Most of them would have been 6-7 years into,
Right.
into the mortgage, into their 30-year fixed. And a lot of them would have had a buy down that was already hefty and refinancing at a much lower interest rate. I mean, we're talking people probably would have had $300, $400, $500 mortgages.
Do you ever call them all
mortgages.
and say, "I told you so"? I don't think so.
I haven't got to all of them, but I've gotten to a lot of them. No, I'm just kidding. I post it from time to time. I mean, you got to post it on social media and let them know. You got to let them know that you haven't forgot about them.
That is right. Well, hey, but what's the message now? Like, that was a crazy opportunity that I don't see happening again, but it's still happening at scale now.
Everything happens again. It may not happen the same way it went down.
Right.
But
it might not be as intense.
The world is a cycle.
Yes.
Everything happens again and again and again. It just depends on how much time it takes.
So you rewind back 7 years, and we were at, I say high, but higher interest rates, and then they, came down. Now we're at those higher interest rates. They will come down, right? So is right now that opportunity for those people again to take advantage of it? Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Where I was going with the athletes and showing them the investing side of things, I mean, has real estate ever lost value over time and stayed down? It's gone down, but has it stayed down? Homes are worth more in the 90s than they were in the 80s, right? They're worth more in the 2000s than they were in the 90s, and they're worth more now than they were in the 2000s. So, I mean, if you invest, your money is going to grow. The key is just not selling in the bad times. And most of those people can handle that hit.
Yeah.
Some of the regulars out there, not athletes, but regular people, you and I, the regulars, if you overload your plate, you may not be able to keep your head afloat if something crazy does happen, like in 2008. But, like I said, as long as you can weather through the storm.
How else do you put that out? Again, you have two things. Like, I want to get in front of the athletes, and I know it's through the networking, but how do you convey your messaging around, hey, let's talk about what an investment real estate is for you long term, not just on where you're living, because sometimes they're transient, right? They're going to move to probably, I don't know, I'm going to sign a contract, but I could move next year. But you're saying more about the investment opportunity of rentals, multifamily, fourplex, like things like that. Do you ever think about educating them on that kind of stuff?
Well, I educate them as much as I can. A lot of times it could stem organically, from the market. When the market got really hot, some of them just reached out and said, hey, let's talk about investing, and then they'll see other athletes doing it elsewhere, and they want to get involved. Like I said, when the market got really hot, it became a trend. It became like the cool thing to do was invest or learn about real estate or get involved in real estate. So it's just a matter of staying in touch with your clients and friends and talking to them, letting them know the benefits. sometimes I do have to, bring up the conversation with some of them, but most of them, once they see, their own equity grow, they just decide to try to park more money in real estate.
Right.
And it's never been a bad investment. Real estate's never been a bad investment.
I agree. The only bad thing is, like you said, is selling at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, selling at the wrong time. And again, there's another saying, when's the best time to plant a tree?
40 years ago.
40 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, you could use any amount of time, yeah.
Depends on the tree.
But when's the second time to plant a tree?
Today. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you couldn't get in 2016, get in today, because it's only gonna get better.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, dude, this was awesome, bro. Thanks for coming in today. Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Thanks for asking me a lot of questions I really wasn't prepared for. So
that's what I do. You're not supposed to be prepared.
That's true.
That's how you know it's real.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.